to take plant unavailable forms of nutrients and pull them inside the hyphae so they're now directly available for the plant to be able to take up.
Mycorrhiza help farmers reduce the need for herbicides by giving domestic plants an edge over unwanted plants.
The mycorrhizae is actually stealing some of the carbon out of the roots and feeding it back to the domestic plant. The mycorrhizae does not seem to attach itself to weeds. The mycorrhizae actually seems to be weakening the weeds that are in the soil and taking those nutrients and feeding it to the domesticated plant.
So the mycorrhizal fungi on the roots of your desired plants will help them outcompete your weeds, and we see significant reductions in the amount of weeds in your system, and you grow your plant without having to use the herbicides.
By decreasing the need for herbicides, mycorrhiza save the farmer time and money, leaving farmers with healthier crops and greater yields.
One of the mechanisms by which mycorrhizal fungi prevent the disease from getting to that root system is a physical barrier. You want to think of the mycorrhizae around that root system just exactly like you would think of a room filled with spaghetti. If that room is filled with spaghetti, you cannot get through that spaghetti to the pot of gold at the window. The plant is feeding the mycorrhizal fungi, so they produce a huge amount of threads right around that root system. And there's the disease-causing organism staring at a huge amount of spaghetti between it and the root that we're trying to protect.
Some of the first places that we use the Nutripathics soil restore and bacteria combinations was actually on real high quality pastures that we were doing some grazing on. And we found initially that the livestock really ate less of the feed, indicating that we were meeting nutritional needs to those animals a lot quicker with less actual feed consumed. And we got more milk per acre, more beef per acre.
A lot of the times we will put some of these products on in the fall, and we'll do half rate in the fall because we find good success in letting these mycorrhizae spores break down some of the residue through the winter. And then when we plant corn in the spring, we've got a lot of the crops and a lot of the residue partially digested. We're using 2 ounces per acre of the mycorrhizae, 2 ounces the acre of the bacteria, and so we can cover a lot of ground with a small amount of material. We have seen in the scientifically done randomly replicated tests better overall yields, better profitability, just more consistency than any of the products that we have tested and worked with in the past. We have in our files here results from the Mycorrhizae Applications Laboratory and telling us that we have the highest mycorrhizae colonization levels ever reported in mainstream agriculture.
We see ever-increasing amounts of pesticide, herbicide, inorganic fertilizer use, destroying the life in the soil. Talk to almost any farmer and they're starting to go broke because the cost of the pesticides, the chemicals that they have to use, is so overwhelming that they can't stay in business, so they're going broke. Reduce the cost of doing agriculture. How do you do it? You've got to get the organisms back in the soil. That's the simple answer.
The developers of Nutripathic have created natural products that maximize the health of farmland, increase yield percentages, and decrease the need for expensive and damaging pesticides. Quality, time, savings. Nutripathic, the smart way to farm. Contact your local distributor to find out how Nutripathic agricultural products can be incorporated into your farming practices.